Call this meeting to order at 6:30. Roll call, please.
Recording in progress.
Commissioner Morris.
Here.
Commissioner Tenza.
Here.
Commissioner Ransford.
Here.
Mayor Al.
Here.
Chairman Gadd.
Here. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1D, general public input, limited to 10 minutes, 3 minutes per speaker. If somebody's here to talk about something that's not on tonight's agenda, please come forward. Seeing none, planning commissioners disclose conflicts of interest.
I have a conflict on 2A.
Okay. Anything else? Entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza.
Yes.
Commissioner Ransford.
Yes.
Mayor Al.
Yes.
Chairman Gadd.
Yes. Approval of minutes, do we need to do a motion for each one of those, or can we do all
Yeah.
three together?
Yeah, we have to, I think,
Kind of
to
depends on who was
see,
there.
yeah, we should probably do them separately. It depends on who was at what meeting, really.
Let's take a look.
I don't think there's quorum for December. We already had this problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, the December 3rd one, yeah, that would be right. So we'll hold off on the December 3rd, so how about January 13th?
December. Entertaining a motion to approve January 13th meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 13 Planning Commission meeting minutes.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza.
Yes.
Commissioner Ransford.
Yes.
Mayor Al.
Yes.
Chairman Gadd.
Yes. February meeting.
So the February meeting,
We have 3 here.
we have 4 that were present.
Four.
Chairman Gadd was not, but Commissioner Ransford, Morris, Tenza, and Mayor Al were there.
A motion to approve the minutes from February 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza,
Yes.
Commissioner Ransford,
Yes.
and Mayor Al.
Yes.
Moving to public hearing agenda, item 2A, McCoy annexation and initial zoning for 2.3 acres located at 9291 County Road 521.
Yeah. All right, good evening. As stated, this is the McCoy annexation and initial zoning for 2.3 acres located at 9291 County Road 521. As it says, they're proposing an agriculture A zone with the annexation into the town. Current uses is residential, some cattle grazing, agricultural production, some log storage and milling, and an orchard. A little bit of background, they did submit this to the town of Bayfield for consideration. It was the intent hearing was heard by the Board of Trustees on January 6th. It was publicly noticed in the Durango Herald on January 11th, 18th, 25th, and February 1st. was originally supposed to have been heard by the Planning Commission at our last meeting on the 10th of February, but we had to have a little bit more discussion on the annexation agreement, and so decided to go ahead and move it to this meeting. Those issues have been resolved, and that agreement has been put together. So per the comprehensive plan review, it does follow the comprehensive plan goals of Goal 2, encouraging infill development. Goal 8, attracting and retaining economic opportunities for Bayfield residents in the local economy. Goal 12, promote and share Bayfield's agricultural heritage. And Goal 13, to restrict the prime agricultural lands for agricultural uses and reduce development pressures in areas that are based on the soil types, available water, topography, and conservation easement or other financial support. Let's take a look, see. So Colorado revised statutes, they set forth requirements for annexing property into a town. This annexation request does meet all the criteria, one of them being the 1/6 of the perimeter area that is contiguous to the town. Actually, about 25% of the property line is contiguous to the town. It is within the 3-mile plan area. I have the signed application form from the owners. There's no other municipal jurisdictions that have dibs on it, I guess you could say. And it does not split the school district. We did refer this, like all cases, to the referral agencies. Got a couple comments back that just pretty much said that they didn't have any comments, so pretty good shape in that. With this annexation and zone, any future reviews, any additional development on this property will be subject to the provisions of the Town of Bayfield Land Use Code. And we're holding public hearing right now. There's a quorum, so we're good on that. So staff does recommend approval of the McCoy annexation and initial zoning with the findings and conditions as stated in the original resolution, but ordinance will be put together for the town trustees. So let's see here. So as stated, staff does recommend approval, which would be alternative action A. Move to recommend approval following the findings and conditions set forth on the last page of the staff report. Although you do have a couple other alternatives. Alternative B is recommend a denial. And alternative action C would be to table this case for whatever specific reasons that you may have. So the agent for the applicant's here. If you have any questions, the property owner's here as well. If you have any questions for him or myself.
If the applicant would like to come up.
Danny McCoy.
Thank you.
So I have a standard question I always ask on the annexations, and that's why and now?
I can't think of a better time than right now.
That's pretty big.
I would like to get into the town, mainly for the, the intersection in front of our house. The super guy. I have talked to Melanie about it for the whole time that I've been. They said they can't really do anything about it, but all that's gonna fall apart. I was talking to Al about it, and yeah, that road as well out front. So it makes that a lot easier. I've seen a lot of kids almost get killed right there. That needs fixed. So that's a huge part of why I want to do it. There's a trail that goes right to my house on both sides. And I sit there, especially on the weekends,
then there's a lot of out-of-state cars running through there. And I literally watch the kids, like, try and flag the cars through, and they're on the bikes. It means nothing. So that was a pretty big deal, is to get that fixed so that my kids or your kids aren't dead, you know, that. It's just crazy to me that that trail runs right down both sides and there's no crosswalk or anything like that. So that was a part of it. And just the way the town is structured, fits my needs better, you know. We have the town sewer line that runs right through the middle of my place. So I already have a tap. I would like to get town water. That's pretty much it. And I would rather give my tax dollars to the town at this point as well. I'd like to help the town how I could.
Okay. Great, thank you. That's all I had.
There was something in the staff report about a future ADU and bringing water to that. Is that a use by review?
Future ADU would be using the sewer.
Yeah. For ADUs, they've got to tap onto the primary structures, water and sewer lines as well, so you can't have separate. So the water would have to be connected to the ADU as well as the principal structure.
Thank you. You got anything else? Vaughn?
That's it, that's all I got.
Okay,
Any
thank you.
questions?
Any public comment on this item?
Lucy Stewart, I've been a resident of Bayfield since '77. My issue with all of this is you guys are talking so low and nothing, it's hard to understand what this is about. So I'm glad that you all are here because you're the ones that have to make the decision. But we appreciate it for this people. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none. Move to 2A1, action on McCoy annexation and initial rezone. Any discussion?
I don't have anything.
Would entertain a motion?
I move we recommend approval of the McCoy annexation and initial zoning request to the Board of Trustees with the conditions, findings and conditions as listed on page 6 of the staff report.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza,
Yes.
Commissioner Ransford, sorry,
Yes.
and Chairman Gadd.
Yes. Item 2B, Bayfield Lakeside RV Park subdivision and use by review for 21.6 acres generally located west of the intersection of Buck Highway and Bayfield Parkway. Derek?
Yeah, this case was originally heard at the last planning commission meeting in February. And, hold on one sec. Where'd you go? Maybe it's over here. Anyways, it was originally tabled to allow the applicants to address some of the issues that the planning commission came up with. So that list of conditions was, one of them is to provide additional details regarding the parking and site access, clarify the proposed access from Pine Street, including how much of the access road would be within the city's jurisdiction versus private ownership. Confirm whether the city is prepared to improve the Pine Street intersection to ensure the private portion of the access can function properly. Address any outstanding irrigation issues and provide clearer information. Resolve the shared driveway issue, including clarification of ownership and maintenance responsibilities, specifically whether it is owned by the town or another party. And then address concerns regarding street maintenance, including Commissioner Tenz's question of if the HOA fails to plow the streets, what's the alternative plan? And so those were the issues that were brought up and reasons for this application to be originally tabled from the meeting in February. I can give a quick rundown real quick. Like you said, it's the Bayfield Lakeside RV Park subdivision use by review. Excuse me. It's on 21.6 acres. The zoning is transitional. The comprehensive plan land use designation is general commercial and mixed use. The future proposed uses are commercial uses and residential uses. So, real quick on the project history. Originally, the annexation and zoning was initiated by the Board of Trustees on June 20th, 2022. It was approved, finalized by the Board of Trustees on July 19th of 2022. Oh, I'm sorry, that was September 20th of 2022 is when it was approved by the Board of Trustees. There was some ownership issues apparently before that, so they got those resolved. And it has been publicly notification in the Durango Herald. And I really just want to go through and focus on those issues. If you have any other additional questions for me, I can try to answer them. The agent, applicant, and all of them, they are here to address those issues that were set forth by the Planning Commission at the February meeting. All the attachments you guys have. Again, staff is still recommending approval. You got your alternative actions there on the second to last page of the staff report of alternative action A, approve, B, deny, or C, to table again. So I'll go ahead and let the applicant come up and answer any questions that they may have, that you guys have of them, and I can answer some questions if need be as well.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you again. I'm Lauren Davis with Reynolds, Ash & Associates, by the way, architect and project representative of Upper Ironton. I put together an abbreviated presentation for tonight, so I'll quickly go through that. Obviously, one of the big takeaways is just the uniqueness of this site. Next slide, please. So there's really sort of 4 or 5 bases to this site. You have the highway, which has very unique characteristics, Bayfield Parkway, which ties into downtown, and a very strong sort of consistent pedestrian neighborhood. Residential, you have the river. There's sort of all these edges to it. And our team, in particular Ironton, we wanted to highlight each of these areas. And this relates to how we're subdividing it. Ultimately, we're gonna have 5 separate parcels, and each of these relate to these zones. But one includes the commercial pads. This is everything along Bayfield Parkway. So again, we're sort of activating and continuing Bayfield Parkway. It wants to have sort of a regular fabric pattern of development, allowing pedestrians to walk up to these uses. It sort of completes that road. Plus, along with the project, we bring street improvement, we bring sidewalks, street trees, everything that you want to see in a parkway. So we're completing that part of this path. Another aspect of this is we're preserving that existing north entry to the residential property. So the Cusick property, which is to the right, this is the existing location of their driveway. We're utilizing that as the node for one of our entries. And then the other entry that's highlighted in this oval, we're connecting with it, we're aligning with the intersection of ours. So again, best practices, we're making the street alignment work. Next slide. The second zone is the residential zone. And this is the one that we have made some adjustments to based on our last conversation. So again, this is sort of a buffer between the pond and the RV area. This residential area abuts existing residential. So again, we're trying to respect some of the existing fabric of the town. And we originally had 23 dwelling units here. Since our last meeting, we've reduced this to 22. We've reconfigured it, and we are providing more visitor parking. And I'll go through that in a little more detail in a couple slides. Next slide. Then this is the RV part of the project. So the RV park, we're providing 96 spaces, but all of the services for this are on site. We have a mix of uses here, so we have a few tent sites, a few cabins, and then of course the RV sites, 3 different sizes. The one thing I want to highlight here, again, we're right next to the highway, but we are nowhere near our max density. So our density is allowed to be 15 RVs per acre, 15 units per acre. We're actually at 4.9. So we're substantially lower than what we could be. The other part of it is the town LUP says if you're going to provide RV spaces, they have to be 15 feet apart. We've actually provided 17 to 19 feet separation for all of our RV spaces. So again, this speaks to that density. This speaks to sort of a thoughtful inclusion of this use into this north part of the site. We're buffering everything on pathways and tree vegetation. This is really kind of tough to the northern part of the site. And again, there's going to be rules. The whole intent of this project is to be preserved. This isn't some sort of slump, or for lack of a better word, this will be well managed, it will be well maintained, and I think that's an important part of this. It's also seasonal use, so this is not going to be 365 days of the year, and there are certain requirements within the LUPC, one of those being the 90-day max stay. So we'll be complying with all of that, but I think it's important to reiterate the character of this whole project is very high quality, elevated. We know that we want to be good neighbors. We're right next to downtown. That's the purpose of this project. Next slide. And then a really important part of this is just the amenities. And this is something we're pretty excited about. There are some really beautiful natural features on this site. We have a pond and wetlands. We're complying with all the requirements that come along with wetlands. Obviously, we're not irrigating the site like it was historically, but we've tightened up all of the wetlands. We have an existing pond that we're going to enhance, and that really becomes a central feature of the site for all users. This is going to be connected with trails, with other sort of greenscape pathways and connections, and this serves as a buffer between, again, the residential, the commercial, and the RV ties into additional wetlands and sort of the greenscape, the existing forests and trees to the west of the river. And again, this will all be well landscaped, well maintained, and again, really help separate from buffers. One other thing I wanted to highlight, I put in red here. LUDC says with an RV park, you have to landscape 10%. Based on our calculations, we're actually 50%. So again, it speaks to, we're not pushing up against any threshold, we're backing off. This is a well-designed, comfortable space that sort of allows each of these zones to have their own separation of buffers. Next slide. So one of the big talking points from our last meeting had to do with that southern residential strip. And it was right after the Super Bowl. I think everyone was nervous. Super Bowl party. What about guest parking? How do we make sure that we're not negatively impacting our neighbors? In the previous design, we had 23 dwelling units, and we actually had, I think, 46 total spaces. The LUDC says you have to have 2 parking spaces per dwelling unit. So we were meeting that. However, we realized that without some of the driveways and just the tightness of that area, we wanted to certainly make sure that you all were comfortable with it, but we wanted to address that. So I included this. This is the layout of the units. And you'll notice the lower level of these is all parking and storage. So this is the lower level plan. I don't know if anyone's familiar with dingbats, but that's an architectural residence that used to be popular, but you're parking underneath your living area. So by default, each of these units has 2 to 3 parking spaces underneath. And then if you go to the next slide, this is the modification we did. And I also graphically just wanted to show, to demonstrate the parking a little bit better. So you'll notice I don't know where to stand here. So we've dropped out 1 dwelling unit entirely. So we're at 22 units. As you can see, we're outlining the footprints of each of the dwelling units. So you can see the garage spaces. What we've done is we've massaged this, we've flattened out the curve, and we've basically given driveways to all of these units, and we've reworked the guest parking. So you can see we're building in these additional pockets, this visitor overflow. We do think this is a more successful design. And again, we backed off a little bit where we could be. But this exceeds the code, and I think it might help address some of the concerns in the previous meeting. So again, we feel like that's a modification that we'd like to incorporate moving forward. We're at 103 spaces overall. So I feel like we wanted to demonstrate we're well above that. Next slide. So we can go quickly through these, but again, this just shows the flavor and the scale of what we're proposing. All of those buildings along Bayfield Parkway are single story. We're really excited about the architecture, gable roofs, using a mixture of siding and metal, but really fitting in and complementing the character of downtown. We're excited about this. We want to use some color with some natural wood tones. We want this to be attractive. We want to encourage people. Obviously, we're going to have a little general store, a couple retail pads. Again, encouraging some of that economic activity. Next slide. Again, this shows the check-in building and the general store. Next slide. You can see the existing residence with the white picket fence on the left and some of our new development to the right. Very similar in scale. And with the new street improvements, it's again going to be attractive. It's going to be enhancing. These are just a few snapshots and vignettes of what the walking path of that amenity might look like. Again, typical kind of RV park. Again, we're going above and beyond in terms of the separation and the buffering. It's seasonal, it's short-term stay. Next slide. This is a potential pet site. Again, maintaining some of the original character This is a common building. We're excited about this one too. Just again, the architectural language, really welcoming, fits the vibe. More than maybe. Next slide. So a few things also, takeaways from the previous meeting. I think that there were some things that were shaded a little bit gray and added some confusion. First of all, Pine Street, which is the existing driveway and connection on the north, all of that becomes private. And all of the other driveways and entries to this will be privately maintained. There's an existing drive right here. That's an existing platted road. But our connection to the north, all of that will be the developer's responsibility. That will be maintained by the developer, distributing or the association once established. The easement and driveway issue. So this is one of those things that I think the Ironton did their due diligence when they purchased the property. And all of this is very black and white and crystal clear in the deeds and that exchange of land when it comes to the water right and that. So we are providing access to the private residents. Again, that will all be maintained by the developer, but that is part of the process. We don't see any issues with that. Our attorneys and our developer vetted that many times. We don't see an issue there. And I guess next slide, please. The drainage and grading. So this was another item that we discussed. We have a great team of civil engineers and environmental consultants. Again, we've studied this site. We've studied everything related to the Schroeder ditch, existing historic drainage patterns, and we've developed a drainage and grading plan that is compliant with the LUDC. It actually resolves a lot of issues that I think historically this site and this part of town has had. There will not be any negative impacts in terms of runoff. We are utilizing the pond for runoff, for retaining, and we're utilizing that for irrigation. And again, I think previously there was a little bit of gray area about how we're irrigating, and we have gone through all of the approvals with the ditch company. We see no issues there. We are still going to use that pond to irrigate. And again, we're complying with town codes. I don't think there's any gray area about how we're utilizing that pond. If by some chance there's an excess of water needed, the developer will just purchase water from the town. Again, we don't foresee that being an issue. And we're meeting all other requirements in terms of the engineering of the site. Next slide. Parking and traffic. So this one as well, I think we explained enough on the last go-round. The one change being the southern residential strip. We decided to pursue additional visitor parking, just make sure everyone is comfortable with that. All the other uses on the site are parked per the land use code. And then in terms of traffic, our civil engineers have complied with all of CDOT's requirements. We actually did an additional traffic study, but both studies have concluded there is no need for a turn lane and no issues. Again, some of that is related to the seasonal use and sort of the peak off-peak hours of RV parks. And next slide. And then this was the fly-through, which I don't know that we can do that again.
I don't think we can. I had to put it on a PDF.
Okay, no worries. But we certainly appreciate all the questions and concerns. We do feel like we have revisited things, triple-checked everything, consulted with the full team, attorneys, just to make sure that we are crossing our T's and dotting I's. We want this to be a wonderful project, something that everyone is excited about. So, thank you. Happy to answer any questions.
Real quick, I just want to say that I did put, I received the email today, and I did put copies of that email at your guys' desk there, so just wanted to, it was from the Cusick family, that own property there right to the east of this. There it is.
So have we determined if Pine Street's a town road, or is it,
It was never recorded.
okay?
It was platted, but never recorded. So, I mean, the lawyers for them can clarify that more, but yeah, from everything we've seen, it's shows up on GIS, but it was actually never recorded.
So does the piece of the property that the existing driveway for the, I guess it's the Cusick residence, is that on the Ironton property now? Or is it on Cusick property? Because since it's not a town road anymore,
Right, well, where the property line is, I mean, they still have a portion of their road.
Is that selected?
Yeah, I think there's a portion that's still there, but everything from here to Bayfield Parkway would all be covered by the developer, and that would become private.
right. But where you turn off of Bayfield Parkway onto the quote-unquote driveway, you're gonna use that also as an entrance to the RV park. And
So they're going across, their current driveway right now, today, is on your property.
Yes, when Ironton purchased the property, we acknowledged that driveway was on that property, and so we, in the contract, we specifically addressed it, that we would always maintain that an access for them, that it could be moved down the road to the property. So we acknowledged that up front, we have never tried to retract that. We fully intend to provide full access, maintain that access all the way up to their property line. And there will not be, and that's contractually what the contract says, and that's what we maintain throughout the design process.
And do we think that when Friday comes, and we get a lot of the RVs, I would assume, would probably be showing up. Now, if I remember correctly, you come into that section of the driveway, and then you have another queuing section farther in where you check in.
We have a queuing section for five RVs so that we don't have to block anything. So,
So yeah, so nothing should ever be blocking there, but all of this is where we can provide. Oh gosh.
But I'm coming in with RV number 6. Now what? So you got 5 in the queue, I'm RV number 6. What do I do?
I think that's something that, as they manage it, and maybe they understand, each time, there is the ability to
Shuffle them
provide
along.
some additional people as necessary to agree to.
we have areas to shuffle forward if we need to. It comes back to a similar question from Super Bowl. The anomaly can't always be addressed in these things.
No, I understand. I would, my one
We do
concern,
have plans to shuffle people through quickly.
Right.
You can move them on into the park if we need to come back and check in.
my one concern would be that as we're bringing RVs in, if they start to back up a little bit, can they still get into their driveway? Is that piece of asphalt, gravel, whatever it is, wide enough that you could stop an RV and still get by it if you needed to get down the driveway?
And I think, so you can see there's actually 3 lanes here, and I think there's certainly signage and other things that we can do to help control, we can stripe it, we can kind of make sure that the off-road is still, and as time goes by, there may be other things we have to do.
There's very, several occasions that could happen. We fully intend to implement the fact that if we start to back up for any reason, we send people to their sites and we come back and check them.
Okay, fair enough.
That's happening.
Okay.
Also, if I may, can you guys hear me? My name is Ryan Cusick.
Yeah, right.
Wait, we're,
Hang on.
So,
Ryan, hang on a second, please.
okay, go ahead.
Anything else from the applicant?
Nope,
Any
it's
questions for the applicant?
not at this point, but stand by so that we can maybe have them answer the question.
Okay.
Okay, Ryan's turn.
We'll now open up public hearing. Ryan,
Thank you.
if you could again state your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Ryan Cusick. My address, I'm currently up in Utah. I grew up on the property there at the corner. Two things we'd like addressed. A, we sent an email that has a lot of concerns. If we could address those concerns, we would really appreciate that. Also, B, if you're coming from Conoco and you're in a truck with a big trailer on it, you're trying to make that turn into what is our driveway, which has been our driveway for quite some time, and you have a big trailer, that's a very sharp turn, and it's extremely hard to get in there, especially with an RV. So that would be a big concern. And also, we consistently always have small children running in that area, so safety concerns as well. How are they going to mitigate that big turn on the Bayfield Parkway into that corner?
That's kind of what we were talking about, isn't it? Yeah.
It's up to him. He's running the meeting.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Are you want to address his questions? Or-
Sure, I didn't know if you wanted to go through them all, or if you want to take them one at a time as it comes.
Let's go through the rest of public comment, then come back to it, please.
Yep.
Did you have any other questions or concerns, Ryan?
Not right now, no, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment on this matter?
Yes, I can't really see the room, so I didn't want to interrupt. Kristen Dallison on Cedar Drive here in Bayfield. I do have some of the same concerns that Ryan is voicing here tonight about 8 corners. And also I have brought directly to this planning commission that emails need to be uploaded for the entire public to see. We have no idea what Ryan's concerns are here tonight. And until the public actually has a fair shot at seeing what is being said by the public, you should not make a decision on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Lucy Stewart, a resident of 77. My concern is right now, it gets backed up, and it's hard for people to get across. People don't stop at the stop sign. We almost got taken out twice today. Going into Durango, nobody stopped. Coming and turning up, somebody came out of the gas station and didn't stop. And when school's going, the school buses, people are trying to get back and forth and trying to get to work. Right now, it's a bad road, it's a bad area. And I don't see how you're gonna get more difference. That's like that we're talking about the cars, the boats, or whatever you have behind them. They're there, and it's not expected to back up. I don't see how they can do that. And even though it sounds good that we can move them along, it doesn't work that way. Because, you know, how many people are going to do that? But I don't believe that entrance, I don't believe that 160B is adequate. You have all that. I think that road needs to be redone and widened up. The water, wastewater that goes along in the summertime, there's water all the time. That needs to be addressed, or anything that goes in that area. There is just too many negatives at this point that I really feel living here have not been addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Black, 311 County Road 501. Just here with the Schroeder Ditch. They've been in a lot of negotiations with us. We had some very concerning aspects about the runoff water. So they've worked with us to actually all the historical pathways that a lot of the water from irrigated parcels way up north, how they run through the town of Bayfield and come and collect on this property. They've really taken a lot of those aspects and kind of incorporated them. They're leaving a route for our irrigation water that, because we statutorily have to keep track of it all the way to the river. They're opening up an area for that. We're in agreement with a maintenance contract on that, keep that maintained. I do have to apologize to P6. I think they reached out to me about some of the irrigation concerns that we had earlier. My phone has a new update with AI messages, and it took their message, and I can't seem to find it anywhere, so I'll get back with them on that, to work with them on some of the irrigation water stuff. But as far as the irrigation company, they've really actually gone above and beyond to protect our rights and make sure that we can keep water flowing to the river as needed.
Thank you. Anybody else? Have any- Go ahead.
This is Jason, 606 Branch Road, in case someone's up. I have some safety concerns about the traffic there at 8 Corners. Someone that pulls an RV, used to be in the transportation industry. We gotta look at the future, not right now, because put this RV park in, continue to grow as a town, community, we're just gonna incur more traffic problems, more accidents, and that's not the right decision for our community. We shouldn't be putting our safety in jeopardy now or down the road. So a lot of our projects now, including this one, we need to look at making sure that the traffic can flow properly, not turn lanes, acceleration lanes. This is one of those things too that we need to revisit and decide if it's something that 8 Corners can handle, especially at certain times of the day, before we incur more problems in our towns.
Thank you.
I'm Grace Sossman. I own the property directly across the parkway from this development. And my question is, who's going to make that parkway or that section of parkway adequate to carry all these, the traffic from all these units? Is the town going to be responsible for that, or what? You know, it showed a picture with the real nice little bricks in the middle of the road and so forth, but is that really realistic? Is the town going to do that, or do the developers do that? If you go through the parking area for the post office and pull out, you know, where you have to pull out, lots of times, if I look one way, I can see the traffic coming if it's close enough. The whole thing, all the traffic, studying through all of this, it has to be magnified, I guess is what I'm going to say. Thank you.
Can I have a question for staff? I got a question for staff. So I know Bayfield Parkway, 160B if you want to call it that, is controlled by both Bayfield in sections and CDOT in sections, correct?
No, the town owns Bayfield Parkway. From one entrance to the other is our maintenance responsibility. County Road 501, there's sections that are county and sections that are the town, but Bayfield Parkway is the town's.
Towns. So.
Per agreement with CDOT, yes, Bayfield Parkway is part of the town. There are parts of it where it's not within the town limits, though. But, God, what was that? I want to say it was 2011, because I was just looking at that agreement. But yes, town of Bayfield does have control of Bayfield Parkway.
So what's the possibility of actually getting Bayfield Parkway widened? Because if that other project farther east, the McCoy and all the other people's projects goes, that's traffic's going to come out onto Bayfield Parkway as well.
That's correct.
And if, perchance, Clover Meadows goes through, that shows up on Bayfield Parkway as well off of Clover Drive. Bayfield Parkway is not wide enough to handle all that traffic. So the question that I have anyway is something going to be done? Can something be done to resolve that, because that's just a big bottleneck that's gonna happen. So that's why I'm asking who owns or who controls Bayfield Parkway? And would there be any intention to widen that either in the future, before some of these projects come to fruition? There's my question.
Good
I
question.
can't answer that at this time.
Not right now, no. Can't answer that
So
right now.
At this time, I guess the correct answer would be no, there is not a plan to widen Bayfield Parkway that the town of Bayfield has at this time.
Okay.
Have any other public comment? The applicant come up and address some of those, please.
I think one of the comments would be, you know, we've looked at this, and it could be other uses. It could be all of our residential. And they're, then you're looking at daily trips on a regular basis. People going to school, people going to the school, et cetera, people crossing the highway. I think it would actually exacerbate it if it was something else. Again, our use, part of the calculation is seasonal presence. Again, it's seasonal, and people bring their RVs in and they park. It's not like they're bringing them in and out. So again, we feel like that does kind of mitigate the issue. It would be something more control.
Sure. My name's Steve Powell, ESP engineering, with the civil and traffic engineer on this project. Traffic in general, before I get to specific questions. So we basically did an original study. We submitted to the town. The town engineer, SGM, reviewed it. We had a few comments, we addressed those comments. We later found out that CDOT did the study. So we updated the study to include CDOT intersections. We submitted to CDOT. CDOT and their consultant, a different consultant, reviewed the study, and they didn't have really any comments. So this has been thoroughly vetted. It's not just us saying that the traffic impacts are minimal, the road's going to hold up fine. This is peer reviewed by two different entities that have no stake in the project whatsoever. And as far as like speeds and safety and things, if you think about like in Pagosa right now, they're going from 4 lanes back to 3 lanes because the narrower the lanes and the less lanes, the safer it is for pedestrians. So right now, there's not really a capacity issue on Bayfield Parkway, and I actually think widening it would just encourage people to drive faster and would actually be negative as far as pedestrians are concerned and bicyclists and those sorts of things. So if you look at other communities, all of them are going towards narrowing streets to make them safer for pedestrians. And I really think when you're coming into town on the Bayfield Parkway, if you take the back way, once you cross over the bridge, the 2 bridges for the river, that's kind of when the character changes. We want people to feel like they're in an urban environment and they need to slow down. Because there aren't any people on bikes, and kids and pedestrians, there's park right there, all those sorts of things. And the numbers just don't show that there's a problem on Bayfield Parkway, that there will be any time soon. The study, we did existing counts. We did them in March. We adjusted the counts to July by increasing them by 40%. And I honestly think that's conservative because March has school counts. July, there's no school. So if you take July counts or March counts with school and multiply them by 40%, the numbers are probably conservative. Additionally, we grew the numbers to 20 years out, so a 20-year projection. On top of that, adjustment for July, and the busiest month of the year. So I feel like we really did our due diligence. Again, 2 different consultants checked the numbers. We agreed with the study. So I really don't think that this development is going to necessarily cause traffic issue. Another topic that came up, I think, is the RV turning. We had to, basically, we run turn movers through the entire site. We ran those for RVs as well as fire trucks. The fire department won't approve the plans until we show them that they have active access to the site. So if both the fire truck and the RV turn movements work, we're happy to provide those to the town. I believe we may have already provided to the fire department. So I don't think RV turning is necessarily an issue. We're accommodating that with the size of the intersections. Runoff, we have this big pond almost the length on site. Basically, we're going to allow the pond have some freeboard on it, and that's gonna store stormwater runoff. And we exceed the requirements in the code. So the Bayfield code is basically playing catch up for a lot of years when stormwater management wasn't really being done a lot. So if you take the 100-year developed condition and you have to match the 5-year historic condition, that's a pretty strict code, and we're exceeding that code. We have a huge surface area in the pond, so we felt like we could do a little bit better. The site takes a ton of off-site storm runoff, goes through the site, and Paul was talking about, it's not just irrigation flows, it's also stormwater flow. There's a huge pipe that comes under the gas station, that comes onto the property. There's 2 big pipes underneath that 160, that comes onto the property. They've historically flowed into that pond, they're going to continue to flow into that pond, but now we're going to actually put some extra depth into that pond to be able to absorb those storms and actually allow less runout to go off the site. If there's any other specific questions on this?
Can I say something?
We can come back up, I guess.
So I think what we're supposed to listen is the stormwater and the drainage and all the water that is on the, if you're coming down, it would be on your left-hand side. There's always, for all those cattails and those weeds and all that, there's always a lot of water there. So even though they're taking care of just whatever is their area, I think that whole road needs to be done, because when you put that traffic and that a grade on that, it's gonna break down that road, because I've never seen, I walk that every day, and I've never seen that side of that road dry. The water sits there year round, and the water freezes, it's hot, in the wintertime it freezes, and there's ice and everything. So, I mean, that road, if you guys are gonna approve that, something needs to be done to 160B. There's just no way around it, and I don't feel they can stand here and say they can put two motorhomes and the price motorhomes is taken. There's no way. I've seen that stuff, just cars back there, they're trying to get in and out. Sometimes you can't even get out of the post office. So, and then we're gonna do all this other stuff. I think a little bit more work needs to be done. I also don't know when these studies were done. Was that something that was current, something that was done 5-10 years ago, like some of these projects? I think new things need to be quite creative. Thank you.
Applicant addressed the question on when the study was done. And also, I think the question was asked earlier regarding the improvements to Bayfield Parkway. Is that part of this project?
Sure. The study was originally done in 2023, but with the CDOT request that was recently updated, I believe we submitted it in January of 2026, and all the numbers were updated to 2026 and 2046 for the 20-year projection.
Thank you.
As far as the Bayfield Parkway improvements, the improvements really are just streetscape improvements. So curb and actually, we're closing off some of the existing access points that didn't line up with other accesses like the post office. And then we're widening the sidewalk to have a 10-foot shared use path and ADA ramps at each access point, and then street trees and landscaping. So there's no actual improvements out on that. But, another one thing. As far as the safety thing too, I did want to add, we did reach out to the Bayfield Police Department and ask for an accident history of the last 5 years. On this stretch of the Bayfield Parkway, there will be 0 accidents.
Go ahead. Name and address, please.
Pete Eggleston, 719 Maryland Place, Kansas Springs, Colorado. I had written a letter that's in the packet, and one of President Ross wanted me to be available to respond to anything, but two particular items that come out today. So the original contract and these items that's already been recorded does clarify, and the existing driveway is on Ironton property that enters the Q6 residence. That was agreed to. They provided an easement to make sure that they still had access. And that agreement, both in the contract and the subsequent agreement, allows and requires them to adjust the easement and move it. And that's what's being proposed here. So it's in complete conformance with the arrangement that was made between the parties at the time. And on the existing plat, that easement is granted on the proposed plat. And the proposed clarified or specified. The association and the developer will be responsible for all of that. So I don't know what else they're supposed to do here. And I thought we were past this, and I wrote down in December that may have been in the original packet. I apologize, I might have been in February. But in my very strong opinion, there was never a public road on the street. It was offered for dedication in the 50s. It would have been to the county. You know, it property wasn't in the town. And when we annexed the property in 2022, there aren't any town public streets within those property boundaries. And that's just the reality of it. So these are all private roads. There were questions about the association failing, which I tried to address in my letter. I don't have another mechanism that is standard being used in these type of developments. But the applicant is certainly willing to try to address any of those concerns. And so then I'll just be available for any specific questions that you guys have, and I'll try to address each of them that you ask me.
Okay, you're the water expert.
They answered my questions about the water last time, so.
So you're good with that?
I think I'm good with that, yes. I do have a question, I guess, about the entrances. If you were coming from, say, the stoplight and you're gonna go to that very first entrance, is it wide enough that if I was pulling a fifth wheel, that I wouldn't need to swing into the oncoming lane to get in? Do you know?
I think it is, but I will Steve.
Sure, I think, I can't remember the exact length of the fire truck, but the fire truck movement, I think it was like a 38 or a 40-foot fire truck. And we also would be, I believe, a 40-foot RV. I don't know these particular have a fifth wheel.
Can I speak on this one? Because I've done this many times. Because I grew up on that property. You cannot take a full-size truck and a full-size RV and make that right-hand turn. Right now, I currently own a 32-foot RV that to get in there, I have to stop, I have to back the whole thing up, I have to go into oncoming traffic just to reverse into Pine Lane. So to think you can take a full-size truck and a full-size RV and make that more than 90-degree turn, it's just not gonna happen.
Can I ask a question, and maybe, Steve, you can clarify this? The current alignment of Pine Lane, of the driveway that we're talking about, is different on this drawing than its current configuration.
It's a little more skewed. Ours is 90 degrees, it's a little more, the existing driveway is more skewed, if I could show you on the screen.
Please. And Ryan, you probably can't see this.
Kind of follows the property line this way.
Right.
So I guess my response to that would be, it's 90 degrees, which is pretty standard for any intersection. For instance, West Park Avenue is a 90-degree turn, so I don't really see necessarily a difference.
Well, I would counter it, it's greater than, it's more than 90 degrees.
It can't be.
Okay.
Configuration's gonna change.
It's 90 degrees to the center line.
The current configuration. No, the proposed configuration is, the current configuration is more than 90, less than 90.
Yes.
However you want to look at it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right. And if you needed, you know, if the 90-degree to your driveway spur there, we have a little bit of room in that kind of triangular area there. I don't know if you can see the screen or not, but we could certainly, give you a little softer entrance there if you need it.
Yeah, well, if we're gonna do it, we would appreciate that.
Okay.
It's tricky.
Yep.
Not to belabor the subject, but if the parkway is going to have to be widened in order to accommodate all of this, you can't come over toward the south because it's a wetland. I just wanted to remind you of that.
We have any other?
So, can I ask you a question? So if Pine Road is technically not our road, and it's owned by the city then, who will do the maintenance on it? And it's only a single lane, would it be widened if needed? Just a couple, points of clarity, I guess.
It's not owned by the city, it's on private property.
Say that again?
It's not owned by the city, it's private property.
Okay.
And it is 2 lanes, there'll be one lane in and one lane out. So it is we're gonna widen it to 2 lanes, as well as square it out to make it 90 degrees.
Okay, so you'll square it up, make it 90 degrees, and then we'll still have our little easement over there where we can park. So where we park now, how our configuration is, how much would that change?
Honestly, I can't say, I'm not sure where you park now.
Yeah.
Oh, on the other side. So if it's on your property, yeah, we tie back into your driveway by your property line. So if you park on your property, then that wouldn't change.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this site where it says on-site stacking for RVs, 45-foot class RV shown. And it kind of veers up to the right over the red line, and then there's 2 spots. Yeah, I think that's where we have our parking pads are basically right there right now.
Okay. Yeah, we are tying, we're gonna match your grade and right at the property line. So we're not doing any work on your side of the property line.
Yeah, I would suggest, I mean, I think you guys have done a great job of like beautifying this. I think it looks really nice. But I would suggest that not be a main entrance or exit, but that you put the main one for RVs, make it be a loop where they come out maybe right across from the post office, and maybe potentially have a light there, because coming out from that spot with the RV or entering is always going to be problematic.
So it is, it's gonna be, the RVs basically will come in that access and they'll go out across from the post office. It will be signed that way, it will encourage it, it'll be easier for them when they're leaving the actual RV sites, because it'll kind of be a straight shot out. So we are gonna encourage RVs to go out by the post office. And we are encouraging them to go in at the entrance on the east end, and that's because we have provided that stacking on the inside of the site. So obviously, if they were going the other way, there wouldn't be any stacking for the check-in, so it kind of works with the flow going that way. So in on the east access and out in the middle access.
Kristen again. I am looking through some of the traffic study information provided, and it looks like only the entrances are addressed at all. It doesn't look like 8 corners is addressed in any way, so can somebody please address 8 corners? Because we do absolutely have issues there. We have for years. There was even a water issue there for a while. So I just really think that needs to be addressed as part of this. And also where Bayfield Parkway meets the actual highway on the other end of town, we do have a significant amount of accidents there. So if people are going to be using that entrance to try to avoid a light and not have to make that right to come all the way down Bayfield Parkway, are we going to increase accidents at that location?
So we provided the study based on what CDOT requested us to study. They also have regulations in their code that traffic studies only need to extend as far as 5% of the traffic. If you increase traffic at 5% of the intersection. So I don't think with the distance from here to the next intersection to the east, I don't think that we will come close to reaching that threshold on that intersection. I think that it actually can be done.
At this point, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, any discussion, further questions for the applicant or staff?
It's a tough one. I'm gonna resign.
Oh,
You know, I think part of the problem is, and I think we've addressed it, and they've tried to address it, is, you know, I understand the stacking issue inside. And you can't even put, where you have the entrance on the east side, you can't even put a lane, what do they call those, deceleration, acceleration lane, whatever, because the property drops off right there, so there's no room to even put something there. It's a tough one. I don't know. Come on, Paul. I know you got something.
I guess my last question is, we guys
Hang on.
discussed those points that we brought up in that letter that we sent in.
What's he asking?
I think a lot of that was addressed in the previous meeting, and I think our main focus tonight is the additional questions that were asked at the last meeting. Sit up here. I agree. I think it's a tough one a little bit, because I think forever there's been issues with the 8 corners intersections. Bayfield Parkway is tight. I think the applicant has done a really nice job of trying to alleviate, get that traffic off of Bayfield Parkway, trying to help that out. I don't think this development, this project in its entirety is the issue with 8 corners. I think it's been a problem forever, and I think it's something that eventually the town and CDOT's gonna have to address. I don't know how that's ever gonna happen, because the way it's shoehorned in there right now.
Yeah,
I think the applicant's done a really good job of trying to make this work and fit within the parameters that they've been given and the restrictions with the site, to make it feasible.
I mean, there was a good point made that, let's say this project gets scrapped, and somebody decides they want to come in and put townhomes in there, sort of like the Clover Meadows proposal, with, I can't remember, but it was a lot of traffic. Bayfield Parkway, on and off, it was just never work.
I think it's similar to the discussion we had with Dove Ranch and that annexation, that zoning a couple months ago, where
So then,
is it an arena or is it 800 homes?
right. So it becomes a question of, which is the lesser evil, to some extent? There's no solution because, you know,
I think one of the concerns that I have is, I mean, we're always looking into the future, right? We're trying our best to. And if the traffic became a problem 20 years down the road, we don't have a lot of room to improve it, you know? If you can't go to the wetland side and they've got buildings on the north side, what do we do? And I don't have a good answer for that.
that's the case in a lot of Bayfield.
It is.
I
It
mean,
is.
You know, we talk about stuff that I wasn't even here when some of this stuff was done. And if you had looked forward 20 years ago, the town would look completely different, or look forward 20 years, the town would look completely different. I mean, so we're stuck with what we got. I guess as a planning commissioner, I feel my job is to try and do no evil as best as possible, but that doesn't mean you can avoid it all. We're stuck with what we got and try and do the best we can.
I don't know if I know I'm kind of out of turn here, but could I say one thing?
Are you addressing a question that one of us have?
Your discussion right there about the right of way.
Okay, go ahead.
If you look at how far back, your right of way is pretty far already. So basically all our development is part of city's line, but you already own a bunch of right of way on this side. So all our development is on the outside. So if you ever really needed a lane in the future, it wouldn't be sidewalk, but it's better than, but there is room for that and for the black.
That was a good response to my objection, wasn't it? You did pretty good with that one. Okay.
Do we have a motion?
Hang on, I gotta find it. Okay. It's in here, it's on page 8. It's not as simple as we normally get them. This one's a little complicated. I move we approve the Bayfield, preliminary plan and use by review for the RV park / campground, duplex residential and commercial / retail uses in the transitional land use zone request for Bayfield Lakeside RV Park with the conditions as outlined, and there are no findings, just conditions as listed in the staff report. Oh, there are findings. I take that back.
That starts on page 8, recommendation, and
Goes to findings on page 9 and 10. Oh, there's the motion. I'll make it, let me start over. I move we approve the preliminary plan and use by review for RV park / campground, duplex residential and commercial / retail uses in the transitional land use zone request for Bayfield Lakeside RV Park based on the conditions and findings provided by staff.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza,
Yes?
Commissioner Ransford,
Yes.
Mayor Ah,
Yes.
Chairman Gad.
Yes.
That's a tough one.
I guess I'd say for staff, I think the parkway and that intersection is something to move up on a priority list if there's one out there. I think, like I've said earlier, I think that intersection's a problem. It's gonna be until something major happens over there, so.
Well, just from my personal opinion, since I've been here since the beginning of December, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And driving that between, the intersection and especially over to Town Hall, that 35 mile per hour speed limit seems pretty fast. And I go about 25, 30 usually because it feels comfortable because it's narrow right there. And street design has a big effect on speed. So that should be something else, I think, personally, I think should be looked into as well, speed limit reduction. But just my 2 cents.
Agreed.
But yeah.
It used to be slower. From the green bridges to there was only 30 for a long time, and then they increased it for some reason.
It was inconsistent throughout the entire parkway. You had 40, 30, 35, and so law enforcement was having a hard time with enforcing the speed limit in that spot. So they twist it all to 35 miles per hour, and so there's one consistent speed. So if someone's going faster than that, then that's a law enforcement issue.
Okay, lesser of three evils, I guess.
The next step for this one, the next step for this and the next step for the annexation would be the Town Board of Trustees. I will try to get them going for the next meeting, which should be next Tuesday for the Board of Trustees. Yes, that was my plan, yeah. Real quick, I should have brought this up at the very beginning, but on the agenda, the Clover Meadows Phase 8 preliminary plan, they were unable to get their information to me on time, so I would recommend that we table that for the next Planning Commission meeting.
I can do that. Make a motion to table. Let me read it. To table the Clover Meadows Phase 8 preliminary plan until the April Planning Commission meeting.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
1 second. Yes. Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Tenza?
Yes.
Commissioner Ransford?
Yes.
Mayor Ah?
Yes.
And Chairman Gadd.
Yes.
I hate these kinds of projects where it's the lesser of two evils kind of thing. Not that the project is evil, but just the decisions you have to make. We need some easy ones, Derek.
Tell me about it.
Moving on, item 3A, La Plata County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan Update 2025.
Okay, so 3A, B, C, and D, which are in your packets, those are more or less for your guys' information to review. I will bring those, because I've got to notify them and everything like that, because those are public hearing for approval. They will all, except for the bylaws and the dates and deadlines, so the amendments and the mitigation plan update also have to go to the Board of Trustees. And actually, I'm sorry, bylaws will have to as well. They didn't originally. So really, that's all for your review. The hazard mitigation plan update, I had just, got you the links sent to those because those are huge documents. There's two parts. One is like, the main meat and potatoes part of it. That's kind of an overview of everything. And then the second part, my focus primarily on the Bayfield, they call it Annex. So it focuses more on Bayfield, but take a look at that. We'll go over that a little bit more at the next meeting. 3B, proposed land use code section 2.3 amendments. That's where I'm proposing we stay with 7 members, 7 appointed members, and have the mayor and the other designate not be a part of the planning commission. So we just have unelected officials on the planning commission. I believe that'll help, especially once we get into possible quorum issues if a case has to go in front of the Board of Trustees, which we are kind of debating right now if we have an issue for a case that I hope to get on there here pretty soon, but I need to talk to the lawyer actually tomorrow about it. So, but that's just some changes to that. That's the main change. 3C, bylaws. There was a set of bylaws that were approved by the Planning Commission in 2022. They didn't go through the Board of Trustees for approval, so they just kind of sat there. But, I mean, they're good bylaws. There were just a couple things that had to be changed up, primarily the 7 members, 7 appointed members, without the elected officials on there. And 3D comes from what I'm used to. One of the bigger jurisdictions that I worked at, we had set deadlines for application information, fees, and all that good stuff that coincided with a planning commission meeting. So as you can see there, as an example here, I've got a copy of that in front of me, so I can kind of go over it real quick. But you have a, oh, where'd you go? Apparently I don't have a copy of it. Anyways, so it's a time frame. I have certain Mondays that an applicant can come in. Hopefully they'd come in and talk to me beforehand if they have some case going on or they want to apply for a case, but have all the application information in, the application itself and whatever else they need to submit that day so that I can, go through it, make sure they have everything. Then I can also get the fees set up for them. And then that'll give me plenty of time to get it out to the reviewing agencies, public notice and all that. And so that time frame between, you're looking at about, I think it's about 35 days from start to finish. Well, not start to finish, but from application to the planning commission. So it'll give us plenty of time to get everything ready, get everybody notified, and get the comments back from the review agencies so that I can get them to you guys. Also, to kind of follow up on, I know there's been times when I get information, like today, that email, I got that today. I didn't have any time to upload it or put it in any packet because that had already been out. I literally got that this afternoon. So that's why I printed it out and put it at your desk because there was no time to upload it. How I work once it comes to getting the information out, I get the packets out to you guys. I try to get them out to you Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. This time it was Friday. But my staff reports are usually done at the beginning of the week. If I have multiple ones, like in a lot of our cases here, I try to get them all done at the beginning of the week so I can get everything else put together, get the minutes, get the agenda put together and everything, so I can get all these packets out to you guys and get it posted by Thursday or Friday of the week before the meeting. Now I've got a bunch of other stuff that's going on too between that time, so if I do not get comments or stuff sent to me before that time, then they're not going to be in your packet. But I will set them out for you guys to read, and they are a part of the public. So if you want me to email them to you or whatever, I can definitely do that. But when it's last minute, I've only got so much power. I can only do so much. So that deadline, dates and deadlines helps on that, I believe. Because once you get your public notice, because the people that usually comment are the ones that are notified. And if they can see when that date is that the meeting's happening and when to get that information into me, I'll be able to get in the packet. I'll be able to get it on the website. So I don't deal with last minute stuff very well. I do the best I can.
So what I'm hearing, Derek, is if we put a deadline, we put this calendar together, any public comment outside of that deadline would not be considered, or?
No. That is for more or less application. I didn't include this in the packet, but I actually have another calendar that I put together that breaks down that time frame between application deadline and planning commission. I can send that out and post that as well, but pretty much what that has in it is the application deadline, so submittal of information, fees, and everything like that. Then it goes my time for review. Then it has when I send it out to the agencies, when I send out the public notice, when the notice is published, when I should be receiving all my comments, the deadline for all the comments from the agencies, because they're given 21 days or somewhere around there. And then when I send out the packets, and then the meeting date. And so, I mean, I can post that too, and I can, like I said, email that to you guys as well. But it gives you set times, it gives you set dates to, get that stuff to me. And I'll get it online, I'll get it to you guys, I'll get it in the packets and everything like that. So, I mean, another thing I was actually thinking of on the way here, literally, was I know we have a 15-day public hearing notice time frame between, meetings and when it's notified. Where I'm from, it's 21 days. So I don't know, I haven't looked in it in depth. This is literally something that just popped in my mind. I don't know if that's a revised Colorado CRS standard, statute or whatnot, but, that's something else that maybe in the future I can look into as well. Kind of give it a little bit more time for public notice, to give people that are affected a little bit more time to comment. Just things like that. So right now, I'm working within the timeframes that I'm given, trying to give us as much time as possible to prepare a case and to allow people to comment.
Are we caught up on the website in terms of projects listed on the website, on the town website?
I believe we are. I have received a couple other applications, but haven't been scheduled yet. But I believe we are up to the arena. I think, yeah. the arena's-
So if we're caught up on the town website with projects that are gonna come before the commission within a reasonable time, and we were to add another page in there for each project on our deadlines, you have to have this done by that, so that the public also knows that there are timeframes that the applicants have to meet. And also put a recommended date for public comment.
And that's what I was thinking, I'll have you guys, again, look over that, and I'll also send and include in the next packet for the next meeting that other calendar that I said I don't know why I didn't put in this one, but I'll do that as well. But yeah, my thought is to have a separate link, along with the applications that have like dates and deadlines and the calendar of, yeah, that was my plan, is to put it out there once it gets all approved and everything like that, so I don't want to be premature on that, but I want to let you guys, of course, and the public to take a look at it, get their opinions. I mean, that's why I went ahead and put the bylaws and these amendments for now, on there now, because they're out in the public, and so you can take a look at them and, propose any changes or whatnot, and we can consider them at our next meeting. These aren't going to be the first, nor are they the last. Well, these are the first, but they're not the last kind of changes that I want to make to this land use code, because we need to make it easier to read. Right now, the way it is organized, it's kind of all over the place. And so I want to make it a little bit, I guess you could say, more efficient. So if you're looking at a certain zone, under that zone, I want to have the list of uses that are permitted, the list of uses that are used by right. I also want to have the site, specifications for that zone. That's just some examples. I also want to add a bunch of definitions, because we have a lot of uses that are not defined.
Right.
And so, this is a work in progress, but these are some changes that I want to do here, going forward. So.
I think maybe Jim and I are saying the same thing, but thinking the same way. But
That's scary.
yeah, that 35 days or whatever this comes out to, if you back that up and gave it a week prior to that, where you could get packets out published a week earlier, and then have a published date of, if you're not gonna be at the meeting, any email public comment needs to be in the Friday before the meeting, or.
Oh, yeah, I can
and
definitely
just
adjust what we.
Definitely state that.
Yeah.
So we don't have this discussion again, or in the future.
Yeah, clarifying those deadlines avoids this lack of transparency potential that we're having now. Like, I'm not a real fan that I'm looking at something that somebody else can't see.
I agree.
It's not transparent. We're not hiding anything, but it needs to be.
Yeah, you can only do
there.
so much at last minute. And
Sure.
I try to put in what I can, what I get.
Sure.
And it won't be posted on the website, but of course, like I said, you get, but no, I'll provide that expanded calendar for you guys to take a look at the next meeting. I'll include it in the packet, along with, what you guys have now as well. And you'll kind of get a better idea of what I'm talking about, certain dates, boom, boom, boom. So it'll give us plenty of time to be able to thoroughly go over a case and not be rushed, and not have the public rushed either in trying to get something to me.
It would be interesting to try and figure out, and we could do this kind of informally even, for the public that comments on these, where did they get their information about the project in the first place? So that we could focus more on those areas as we improve the process. Because if nobody ever looks at the website, the town website, okay, so you have it there, but that's not where they're getting their information. I also noticed we don't post, county does this, post a sign on the property about a public hearing. I went by the McCoy one today. Because I kind of figured out where it was, but I went, huh, and I drove by, and I went, well, I'll find it right away, because I know it's kind of tucked in there, it's no sign.
That's another thing I've been thinking about as well, because, so I used to work Wichita, Sedgwick County, Kansas. And that was part of that deadline date when people came in for applications. And we take all their information in, we give them a receipt after the fees, and we put together a development sign. So there's a sign right there. I can't remember what, it was a decent size, but write the case number down and a brief little blurb about what it is.
And it was, I think from the county, it was the applicant's responsibility to put
post
that on the property.
Yes, yeah. We'll provide the sign, but
You've got to put it up.
exactly.
Otherwise,
And,
expect delays.
and we would need proof by picture or something like that, that it has been posted. And that has to be up, here it's 15 days, there's 21 days.
Right.
But at least has to be some kind of proof that it was posted because, weather and stuff, wind. Out in Kansas, it gets windier than you-know-what, and some of those end up across town. But, yeah, exactly, some kind of a signage to post on the property, and I thought about that too, here.
That could be, would that be a land use code?
Yeah,
Adoption?
that's part of the land
kind
use
of thing?
code. We can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anymore you could do a pretty simple sign with a QR code on it.
Yeah,
And
right.
somebody scans it and pulls up the packet, the whole set of information
I don't
on
like
it.
QR codes. I have to have my granddaughter help me with those.
I just took a Sharpie to a red and white sign, okay, conditional.
Whatever works, but,
Right.
yeah, I'm just thinking it's easy for the public to get that information.
Agreed.
And it's already on the website, so it links to that, and you really want it.
And that's another thing, so I know that we don't like large packets. I'm not a big fan of them either, so what I'm thinking about doing from at least here on out is, so the cases that are going to be heard in the planning commission, I post all the information on the website for those. So, with the packets, of course, I'll have the staff report, agenda, all that other stuff. But, and maybe some narratives, if I can provide narratives. But the remainder, the rest of that information, I'll provide a link in the email or on the packet itself that links you to the part of our website that has those cases so that you can refer to those, because I can put all the information on those links, if that works for you.
I don't mind the big packets, because what I do is I go through them, take a look at it, and then I scroll down, have a little piece of paper, and I'm gonna print these pages. And the pages that I'm interested in, I print. It's like for this one, I didn't worry about water, because I knew Bucky had it covered. So I didn't worry about that. But, and so you pick and choose.
No, right?
And that's why I have little bits and pieces of paper.
Okay.
The link's okay, and it kind of gets you to the same place, but when you have it in the packet, there's a chronological order and a logical order where they were put in there.
Sure.
And if I just have a link, where did that fit in the process of that packet?
True. I see what you're
That's
saying.
just my opinion. And I have a lot of crazy ones, so.
I kind of like the fuller packet too. That way I'm
Okay.
not chasing stuff around.
Yeah.
And we can pick and choose what we want to, whether print. Well, my laptop died today, so that didn't help me at all, but, so I'm fine with bigger packets. I
Okay.
mean,
I can continue doing that.
you're starting to approach the county's size packets, but, okay,
There's a lot of submittal information for some of these cases, especially some of these reports, the traffic report being like 100 pages just by itself, so.
Do the traffic guys get paid by the page of the report? Because
Turn it in your CDOT, so yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of it.
So, yeah, for,
the planning commission, section 2.3 changes, do we vote on that? Does that come before us, or how's that work for the changes, the 7 and the other stuff?
oh, for A, B, C, and D?
Yeah, for the land
Yeah.
use code, section 2.3 amendments, and then
No,
also,
there's no vote on those today. Those
But
are
what's
just,
the procedure now?
so procedure, you can go ahead and go adjourn. I just wanted to put those on there to show that I provided them to you to review, and I will put them on the public hearing part of
Okay,
the.
that was the question.
Yeah, I'll put them on the next meeting.
Okay.
Public hearing, and I'll have it notified and everything like that, so that we can sit down and discuss and make any recommendations if we want to move it forward or not.
So is that where we would make any recommended changes to language? Because I did review them. I didn't know if we were supposed to just give you the feedback on.
Yeah, give me the feedback and, yeah, email me the feedback so
Okay.
that I have it in writing.
Okay.
Because I'm doing the best I can, notes and stuff wise over here. But yeah, provide me the feedback and, I'll take that into consideration, of course, and I'll provide that as well next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, there's just a couple places when I read through it, they don't match up, the bylaw, you know how it goes.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
had this discussion, so.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So that's your specialty.
Sure.
See, I'm trying to identify commissioners who have a specialty to where I can avoid certain parts of the packets,
Yeah.
knowing that someone else has the knowledge and the coverage, and I'll pick and choose the other bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's something to be proud of. Bylaw boy is not a great title, but
Hey,
it's something.
it works.
Hey, gotta know our gifts, right?
It works. I had a question that I asked rhetorically, I think, a meeting or two ago. And I am curious, and you answered it, I think, for me, but when we have big public meetings, and we have a lot of people that want to comment, and/or like the one meeting where somebody came in with 20 letters they wanted to read, what is our obligation legally to allow as much input as somebody wants to provide, as long as the meeting wants to last? That's not your question. That's not really a question for you. It's a question for the attorney.
Yeah, it's a question for the attorney. I
believe that if the applicant comes in and he's got 20 letters and he says, I got 20 people from this area of town that is close to wherever the
Right,
project is,
right.
and they're all are saying, we're really for the project, or we're against it, or however that may work, that you can go, okay, we'll read 2 or 3 of them so we get the gist,
Right.
and then we know what the rest of them say.
And that's what we
And you
did
can
in the
do
December
same
meeting, I
thing
think.
If there's 40 people in here that are coming in, I believe you can say, you guys need to get a spokesman.
Yeah,
And one person can speak for a group of people. And if you got 2 groups and they're battling it out, you go, okay, well, I need a spokesman from this side and a spokesman for the other side. And just get the feel for where each side is at or whatever, and go from there. You don't have to listen to each individual person.
I just think we needed some clarification, because some of these meetings can get very contentious with a lot of people with a lot of opinions. And there's a scientific study that says meetings should only last so long because the attention span dies and the processing goes away. So, you sort of have to look and say, how much can I compact some of this stuff, but still give the public the chance, still make it fair, and go from there. So that's,
I've recommended at other locations that I've been at, and some of the bigger cases, they have done that because, usually you've got 1 to 3 issues during a big,
right.
big case. And so the best thing in that is you can stay there for 5 hours and listen to everybody say the same thing pretty much over and over again. So the best thing to do would probably be, yeah, like you said, have a spokesman, for each case, because most likely you're in the same neighborhood or in the same area that's being affected. And so I know you've discussed or talked about it. And so it would, to shorten up but yet still get the point.
right.
Would be to have somebody kind of be the spokesperson, like, myself and all these, here are the issues that we have for this, and run down it.
Well, my other question is, when we close public hearing and then people come and talk, do we need to reopen public hearing?
That's up to your guys' discretion.
Yeah,
So,
Brian.
Give me
Yeah.
some guidance.
Well, yeah, I'm a fan of letting people talk as long as we're not just hearing the repetitive stuff, because we don't want to look like, we got it figured out. Though we do.
but no, that's
Sometimes.
up to your guys' discretion. I've always been of, once the public hearing's open, get it out as much as you can. Once the public hearing's closed, usually it was closed because there was a lull. Nobody had anything to say.
Yeah, just, what we're seeing that the questions start coming back after we let the applicants talk, then there's questions that, so I.
Well, the thing is, they're answering the questions that were already given, and I understand there's going to be more questions going on. Again, that's why it's up to your guys'
Sure.
discretion if you want to open it back up.
Well, there's Robert's Rules of Orders, and then there's Brian's Rules of Orders. And I'll defer to Brian's Rules of Orders anytime.
Hey, no, I mean, that's fine either way. It
Okay.
really is. So,
So, following up on our change next, or our talking next meeting about section 2.3 amendments, okay, and the bylaws, are we going to have a date where we have a vote for a chairman and co-chair?
From what I read, that is in October. When was the last time you guys had a vote for chair and co-chair? I definitely wasn't here.
Never had.
Not last October,
Was that not last October? How long have you been chairman?
for a while.
2 years since Matt's been on the board.
Oh, wow.
Well, it does say it can renew year after year, so keep going, my friend.
Volunteer to renew.
Voluntold?
We should
There
have.
was no volunteer, nothing. Just kept going.
Considering we haven't followed that rule, we should be able to pick a date as a commission
True.
and establish that date, at least for the next election, to get it done.
And I can put that in the bylaw, so whatever you put for that date, we can update the bylaw to reflect that, so then it would be a year, because it should be a year. Should be a year.
Yeah, it looked like the terms end on October 31st, is
Yeah.
what I thought I read, so if an appointment is November, you can appoint chair and co-chair in November, because then you should have the full slate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing with the town election. Well, the election's already technically occurred, but, and with this possible amendment with going to 7 members and no appointed or no elected officials, we're going to have to add some more people.
Right.
So I think I kind of want to wait until after the April Board of Trustees meeting to really make a final determination on, I mean, that's just my opinion on that. And then after this gets either approved or denied, my amendment proposal, then we can start throwing out and asking for applications for the planning commission members.
Well, I'll keep coming to the meetings until we can fill this connection.
Yeah, yeah.
No matter how that works. Even if we do have that.
Yeah.
We need a quorum.
Exactly. So,
And an outreach through, I don't do a lot of Facebook, but somehow I'm on this Bayfield Marketplace or something. In fact, that was the thing about the chief of police thing, was on that. That might be a good place to advertise that we need planning commissioners. A lot of people read that stuff.
so long as they're citizens within the town limits of Bayfield.
Right,
It's, yeah. So, yeah, I'll talk with some of the staff and see about getting something out there here pretty soon, especially once we start discussing this amendment a little bit more and probably after the switch over on the trustees, because they'll have to be doing the appointments. So I want to get them a number of applications.
Right.
If I could get a handful of them so that, they can go through, that'd be great. That'd be my goal.
Okay. I guess I could require the people that rent my apartments that have to be on the planning commission.
There you go.
Anything else?
That's all I have, guys.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, everyone.
Are we off mic now?
Huh?
Are we off the mics?
Meeting's ended.
Okay, because I got you.